just got to catch him, and when I have got him hurt, I'm not letting him off the hook.
Badly, the monster on the attack, trying to claim 2 more belts as Fulton.
And Yohan Boyo also faced a similar fate.
Tried to grab the ropes, backed up into the corner. That destructive, decisive power.
I believe and I know I can win this fight. And on Saturday night, I'm going to shock the world.
The drama surrounding this fight began long before the first punch was ever thrown. It started with words, careless, confident, and dripping with arrogance.
That stand right in front of him, everything went his way. He's at home, lower weight class. So
Jason Maloney stood before the cameras and spoke as if the outcome had already been decided, as if the man across the ring from him was just another obstacle to step over. He talked about catching him, about not letting him off the hook once he had him hurt. He spoke about shocking the world, about belief, about destiny. What Maloney didn't understand was that belief means nothing when it collides with something far more dangerous, inevitability. Because the man he was preparing to face was not just a champion, not just an undefeated fighter, but the most feared presence in modern boxing. Naoya Inoue, the monster. From the moment Inoue entered the professional ranks, there was something unsettling about him.
The trenches, but he needs to be careful because Inoue would set him up.
Not just his power, though that alone was terrifying, but the way he applied it. His punches were fast, precise, surgical, and devastating in ways that didn't look human.
There's going to be mistakes the fighter makes, but the question is, can the opponent do anything about it, or if they're going to have the courage?
Opponents didn't just lose to him, they unraveled. Before Jason Maloney ever signed the contract, Inoue had already built a flawless record. 19 wins without a single defeat, most of them ending violently. Fighters who came in confident, fighters who believed the hype around themselves, fighters who thought disrespect was a weapon. They all learned the same lesson. Antonio Nieves learned it the hard way. Yohan Boy learned it the hard way. They all stood in front of Inoue, believing they could test him, believing they could survive, and each of them walked out changed. Maloney, however, convinced himself that he was different. He looked at past fights and told himself stories. He talked about opponents standing right in front of Inoue, about circumstances lining up perfectly for the monster, about weight classes and hype. He focused on details that made him comfortable, ignoring the one truth that mattered most. Naoya Inoue does not fight circumstances. He creates them. When the bell rang, there was no explosion, no immediate chaos. The opening seconds were measured, almost calm. Both men held their ground, their guards high, their eyes locked. Maloney looked composed, confident even, and for a brief moment it appeared like this might be a chess match. But Inoue doesn't play chess the way other fighters do. He probes, he stalks, he collects information with sharp jabs and subtle feints, watching reactions, memorizing patterns. Every time Maloney tried to create space, Inoue closed it effortlessly. Footwork that looked casual, but was razor-sharp cut off the ring, shrinking Maloney's world one step at a time. The difference in class began to reveal itself quickly. Inoue's punches didn't look wild or forced. They snapped. Uppercuts slipped through tight windows. Hooks landed clean even when Maloney thought he was safe. And then there was the defense. Subtle head movement, perfectly timed slips, a guard that seemed to absorb nothing clean. Watching Inoue was like watching violence turned into art. Maloney tried to respond with jabs of his own. Light taps meant more to keep distance than to do damage. But they had no authority. They didn't stop the advance. They didn't earn respect. As the first round wore on, frustration began to creep in. Maloney found himself grabbed in moments of desperation, holding on longer than he should, throwing shots while clinching. Cheap tactics, nervous tactics, the kind of behavior that reveals fear long before it shows on a fighter's face. One of those moments crossed the line, and it showed immediately. Inoue's expression changed. His eyes hardened. The monster had been annoyed. The round ended with both men trading, but there was no doubt who had control. Inoue dictated the pace, landed the cleaner shots, and forced Maloney to react to everything. It felt less like a competitive opening and more like a warning. Inoue wasn't even close to full speed yet. He was warming up. The second round began with a brief illusion. Maloney came out aggressive, landing a couple of decent shots, pushing forward, trying to steal momentum early. For about 10 seconds, it looked like confidence. Then reality arrived. Inoue exploded forward with terrifying speed, slipping inside Maloney's offense and unleashing combinations that scrambled his senses. The ring suddenly felt small. Maloney tried to circle away, tried to escape laterally, but Inoue was already there, cutting him off, stepping into range with perfect timing. Punches began to land with purpose now, not just to score, but to punish. Uppercuts snapped Maloney's head back. Hooks dug into the body. Each combination flowed seamlessly into the next, forcing Maloney to think faster than he was capable of. His breathing became heavier, his movements less sharp, and still Inoue pressed, suffocating him with pressure that never allowed rest. By the third round, the toll was obvious. Maloney's mouth hung open between exchanges. His legs moved, but without confidence. Inoue, meanwhile, looked relaxed. He changed rhythms effortlessly, speeding up, slowing down, forcing Maloney to reset over and over again. A brutal right uppercut nearly shattered Maloney's jaw, and for a split second you could see confusion in his eyes. He was no longer thinking about winning. He was thinking about survival. Then came the disrespect. Inoue dropped his hands. He lowered his guard completely, chin exposed, daring Maloney to throw. It was a message as much as it was a tactic. This is how little I fear you. Maloney saw it, but he couldn't act. His body refused to follow his mind. Whenever he tried, a counter came screaming back at him, reminding him why this was a mistake. One sudden uppercut nearly sent him out of consciousness, his legs wobbling as instinct kept him upright. By the fourth round, the fight had turned cruel. Inoue was no longer just breaking Maloney down. He was enjoying it. The punches became more ferocious, the combinations longer, the body shots heavier. Maloney was no longer fighting. He was absorbing. Each exchange left him more battered, more lost. The crowd could feel it. The commentators could feel it. This wasn't a matter of if anymore. It was when. Still, Maloney showed heart. After absorbing relentless punishment, he found a brief second wind. He landed a few clean combinations, shots that would have dropped lesser fighters. For a moment, hope flickered. But Inoue didn't flinch. He ate the punches, adjusted his stance, and calmly slipped.
I've got to catch him, and when I have got him hurt, I'm not letting him off the hook.
Under the desperate swings that followed. Maloney was burning energy. Inoue was conserving it. Everything Maloney did had an answer. Every attempt to assert himself was met with something sharper, faster, stronger. Inoue controlled the outside. He controlled the inside. He led. He countered. He outsped and outpowered his opponent simultaneously, a combination that left no solution. Confidence returned to Maloney briefly after what was arguably his best round. You could see it in his eyes. He believed, for just a moment, that he had cracked the code. That belief would become his undoing. At the start of the fifth round, Maloney stunned Inoue with a clean combination, snapping the monster's head back. The arena buzzed. This was the opening Maloney had been searching for. He pressed forward with conviction, throwing punches with real intent for the first time all night. But champions don't panic. Legends don't fold. Inoue recovered instantly and responded with a brutal counter that reset everything. What followed was violence. Inoue unleashed vicious combinations with bad intentions behind every punch. Body shots folded Maloney inward. Headshots spun him around. A clean right hand landed like a truck, twisting Maloney's head unnaturally as the monster revealed his true form. The momentum shifted violently back where it belonged. Then it happened. A perfectly timed counter sent Maloney crashing to the canvas. He rose, but the damage was undeniable. His demeanor screamed surrender even if his mouth refused to say it. Another left hook followed. Another right hand. The referee watched closely. The end was near. Early in the sixth round, A sudden left hook caught Maloney flush, dropping him again. This time it looked different. His legs betrayed him. His eyes were empty. He rose, but he was gone. Inoue sensed it immediately. He hunted. Hooks and straight punches crashed through Maloney's shattered defense. Desperate clinches followed, Maloney hanging on, clinging to Inoue as if that might save him. It didn't. Inoue mocked him now, lowering his guard again, daring him to respond, punishing him for every moment of pre-fight disrespect. This wasn't just about winning anymore. This was about teaching a lesson. By the 7th round, Maloney was a shell. Fear was written across his face. He circled desperately, backing away, hoping for time, hoping for mercy. He found neither. Inoue stepped forward with cold precision. A massive right hand landed clean. Maloney collapsed. The count began, but it didn't matter. His nervous system had shut down. Halloween night ended with Jason Maloney sprawled on the canvas, unable to rise. Naoya Inoue retained his WBA and IBF bantamweight titles with a 7th round knockout, another brutal chapter added to his legend. And the story didn't end there. Inoue went on to dismantle Paul Butler, an experienced fighter with 34 wins, before destroying Stephen Fulton to claim the WBC and WBO super bantamweight titles and become undisputed. 32 wins, 0 losses. A reign defined not just by victory, but by dominance. Jason Maloney, to his credit, had his own respectable run. 7 straight wins, mostly by decision, before running into the monster. But his path afterward told a different story. Losses followed. Momentum vanished. And that night against Naoya Inoue became the defining moment of his career. So the question remains, was Jason Maloney weak? Or are Japanese fighters, led by Naoya Inoue, simply operating on a different level altogether? Let me know what you think in the comments. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into one of boxing's most brutal knockouts, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts below. Every comment helps the channel grow, and every discussion keeps the story alive.